Hi and good evening. My name is Abhishek. I'm the client advisor for Briskinfosec. Today, we're going to talk about a very important topic, and the topic is how does an organization implementation of ISO 27001 fails? We all know what ISO is. We keep on hearing about ISO, but today we're going to discuss in a question and answer format. I am supported today on this discussion by my colleague, Mr. Deva Prashant. He's engineer with his academics, but he loves to implement ISO and he helps us in the company with ISO implementation. Thank you so much, Deva, today for joining us. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, Abhishek. Thank you for inviting me for this wonderful session. Yeah, so I'm more excited about to speak the real pain point of the organizations which the implementation is going to fail. Yeah.
So, Deva, we keep on hearing this buzzword ISO. I think ISO is not new. Every time we keep on hearing about ISO. So, can you explain in layman's term what ISO means to a layman? What is it?
Yes, Abhishek. ISO is an international organization, first of all. We call the expansion of the ISO is International Organization for Standardization. See, they are the largest developer and publishers of the international standards. Correct. Basically, the word ISO means ISO. ISO means it's equal. Yeah. Isometric triangles. It's similar kind of thing. Yeah. In Greek, ISO means is equal. So once the company starts following these ISO standards, the output coming from the company, whether it's a product or it's a service, it will be always in equal to the customers. So that's why the ISO has been working to brought up the new standards for the organizations.
So you want to say that ISO is an equalizer. It equalizes the organization to produce the same kind of thing, the standardization, right? Thank you so much. So coming to a second question, I think the core, the intent of today's discussion, 27001. What is 27,000? Apart from the number 27001, what does it implies to a common man? ISO 27,000 means?
So as I told earlier, right, ISO is an international standard. This international standard, they published for the perspective of information security.
Information security.
People generally call it as Information Security Management System. ISMS. Yeah. So see, once you got having ISO 27001 certification, it is kind of attestation for your organization that you can provide anyone to your vendor or to your customer that like we are always more concerned about the information security risk. Correct. Whatever available in this environment, we are more having the best practices and controls over to protect our information and data. Correct. So that's the thing which ISO 27001 implies.
So you want to say that any organization that collects the information of customers or whatever are binded or should be binded by the standards of ISO, correct? Yeah, exactly. So, okay. So anybody who's taking information, that's why ISM, as you rightly said. Thank you so much, Deva. Now coming to our next question, which I got it latestly, one of our would-be clients from Middle East. They wanted to know, they're hearing this buzzword of ISO being revised. Okay. So they're saying ISO 27001 is going to come up with the new version. Can you tell us what is the new version all about? What it encapsulates?
Yes, Abhishek, that a good question. Actually, recently only ISO has been published the new edition of the standard ISO 27001, which is nothing but year of 2022 they released. See, since we are living in a 21st century, the technologies keep on developing, right? Yeah. So the one side the technology is developing, and parallelly the another side the risk, the problems, the security issues are also developing parallelly with the technology. So in order to really protect from that security risk, ISO really considered all those areas and brought up around 11 new controls in this new edition. Okay. So in this we can see, for example, cloud security, right? Cloud is so cloud is the booming platform where all the companies are especially in this pandemic situation, all of them are moving to the cloud side to host the entire network in cloud. So exactly. So in this scenario, cloud security is one of the biggest new control ISO has brought up into the picture. And then one more thing, they brought up like threat intelligence, and looking concern on privacy part, they brought up the data masking. Yeah, privacy. So for the privacy part, they brought up the data masking. Okay, data loss prevention. DLP solution. Yeah. So DLP they have been introduced in this new edition. So such kind of a more things they have been brought up, considered, and published in this new edition.
So Deva, what we understand is ISO 27001 is the new one. The ISO organizations encapsulate whatever the newer things have emerged, especially we can say post-COVID world where things have moved online. As you rightly said, cloud security, data masking, DLP, all this is required because everything, literally all businesses are going online. So considering that fact, they have brought up new. So it's nothing new. They have embraced the change what's happening in the world today and try to make things even more better. Thank you so much, Deva, for this one. So coming on to the ISO 27001, the latest one. Now, my question is, of course, all of us would be thinking the same question, right? If I've already implemented ISO 27001, already it's there. I have a validity for another couple of years. So once a new standard comes, will I get a cushion time to implement the new ones? Or the ISO standards or guys who apply ISO, they say, no, you got to go and implement it now. Will I get?
Not like that, Abhishek. Definitely, you will be having some breathing time for the transition from 2013 to 2022.
Oh, yes.
It will be like around 3 to 4 years of time will be given by the ISO once it got withdrawn, the older version. I would like to add up here, it's not going to be implementation from the scratch part for the 2022. Already your system has been established.
Exactly.
Yeah, so already you are having some policies and procedures pertaining to the ISO 27001 with respect to 2013 edition.
Correct.
So now you are going to add up the new controls for the 2022. I said 11 new controls, right?
Yep.
So that thing you are need to going to add up. So it's not to kind of be a huge task, a critical task you need to, how can I transit from 2030 to 2022? It's not a big deal. You can just understand. So, and then you can just transit from year to year.
So basically, this what you're saying is, just to summarize, is that it's nothing new.
Yeah.
Whatever has happened, whatever 27001, this is just a built up another 14 layers for your safety. So it's don't consider it something extraordinary. It's pretty much the same thing. Yeah. Thank you so much. Now I have a company. I have implemented. Thank you. I have implemented ISO 27001. Now, can I go back and sleep? Guys, I have ISO 27001. I'm going to take rest. Is it one time or it's going to be a lifetime process?
Definitely, Abhishek, if you have like that idea, but that will really don't work. Yeah. See, you can implement today and you can also get certificate.
Correct.
But sitting relaxedly, trying to enjoy the benefits of ISO will really won't work. You need a continuous improvement. Okay. In your process, you keep on need to mature your information security controls. Then only you can able to withstand in this modern technology, modern day attacks, whatever happening. So I never say that it's a one-time activity. You need to perform internal audits, do the management review, identify some new improvement points, keep on pushing your controls effectively. Then only you can able to mature enough to attend the upcoming surveillance audits every time.
So it's an ongoing process. It doesn't stop just because I've got the ISO. I can't go and take sleep. Oh, chill out. No, you can't chill out. It's an ongoing process because I really love the point that you pointed out that threats are changing.
Yeah.
What is yesterday threat is not today's threat. Yeah. What was a malware 10 years back is not today. So definitely you have to change yourself. I got it. Now that brings me to the one penultimate question. I think all of us, all the organizations that have in mind, what is a time frame? How many months, years on years? Because I remember one client came and he was not able to implement. So he thought it's going to be many years. So how many months or years it takes to implement ISO 27001 implementation?
See, Abhishek, as you said, some clients are suffering to implement this ISO, taking 1.5 years of time. That's another thing which the implementation going fails by choosing the wrong implementers, or not having a proper understanding about the ISO standard that we discuss later. But still, see, put together for this implementation, it will take around 6 months of duration. Put together. I'm saying around all the implementation part. But see, the ISO 27001 is having some mandatory requirements. Correct. We call generally it as class number 4 to 10. Okay, these mandatory classes implementation will take 2 months of time generally. And then when we come to the another part, which we called it as Annexure A, we also known it as ISO 27002, 27002. 002. It's a kind of a guideline document which consists of a collection of all the best practices.
Okay.
So in order to implement that, it will be a micro level implementation. So that definitely it will take around 3 to 4 months of timeline to complete the implementation.
So talking about 27,002. So 27,002. If we want to go for a specific certificate, if people have questions that 27,000, okay, I also want to get 27,002. What would you say? Is there a 27,002 certification happening?
Actually, that's a good question. Yeah, because many people is having doubts on this whether I can go for the certification for ISO 27002 or 27001. Definitely, certification is only applicable for the ISO 27001. Why? Because see, certification will be always provided with respect to the requirements.
Correct.
When we fulfill the requirements, certificate will be issued.
Correct.
So all the requirements are stated only in the ISO 27000 standard only.
Correct.
27002 is a guideline document that it's a guideline. It imposing how to implement the best practices in your organization. So you can't able to get a certificate for ISO 27002. So that's the thing. Everyone need to aware about that. Yeah.
So 27,002 is basically there's the best practices that we need to implement, right? Now, coming to this question, which I myself had pretty much, but I think you answered it at the start itself, but still I want to get the dust off from this one. The point I'm asking is it only the IT companies, guys, let's say IT companies are only one who should go for ISO 27,001, or anybody can go for ISO 27,000? Because the I in ISO and I in IT, I think it's just so congruent. We feel both are same. So what do you think? What is it? Is only IT companies for ISO 27001 or not?
Actually, this is a myth part.
It's a myth.
Yeah, it's many people are considering that this ISO 27001 is applicable only for IT companies or BPO, KPO kind of things. But really, the fact is not like that. See, every company will have the information, right? Every company will have that own secret information. Data will be there. More
everyone has, of course.
Sensitive information will be flowing in and around the company.
Data is a gold mine.
Yeah. And then, some intellectual properties will be there, right? See, for example, they will be having a patented information, design copyrights, and trademarks will be there. So IPs are there, right? So in order to protect, if they're really looking forward to protect their information, whether it's a manufacturing industry, whether it's a chemical industry or IT industry or a PPO, KPO, any kind of industry, and then it's kind of any size, whether it's a large scale or small scale, whether it's a product manufacturing company or it's a service-based company, anyone can go for ISO 27001 certification if they really want to protect their information.
So guys, it's very clear. Anybody, any company who wants to protect the customer's information or information per se can go for ISO 27001. Thank you so much. Now, one of my friend was saying, Abhishek, this 27001 is just a marketing gimmick. People just want to attract the businesses. That's why they say, we are ISO 27001. Is it a marketing gimmick or is it real stuff?
It's again depends upon how well you implemented the ISO. Because having the only certification in my hand or hanging the certification in my wall will definitely not brings the customer inside in your picture. It won't work. Definitely the real implementation will speaks about how well your company is protecting the information inside your organization. Exactly. So I would say customer engagement or customer getting new clients will be the byproduct of this implementation. It's not going to be a direct benefit of your organization. It's kind of a byproduct.
You cannot use ISO as a brand ambassador to get business.
Yeah. So what I will say means, so once you start really implementing this ISO 27001, all the people working in your company will really know the value of the information, what they creates or what they uses. So once they start knowing about the values means automatically there will be more awareness flowing around the information security breaches in your organization. Automatically your culture will get developed, right? Your maturity will be developed. So once the maturity developed, automatically the trust will be created in your company on the people, customers' mind. So once the trust created, parallelly the reputation will also increase. So parallelly the reputation increases, definitely your customers will be coming to you for the new projects. So that will be the benefit. but you can't able to show as a marketing tactics that I will, when once I implement ISO, I will get the new customer. Not like that. You need to really implement ISO. You need to mature enough, so then only you will be getting new customers from
Makes sense. Thank you, Deva. Makes sense because, yeah, to coming back to the answer, definitely ISO 27000 is not a marketing gimmick. ISO 27000 is not a brand ambassador to attract business. It is a trust gainer. The more you implement it, the more you mature it, your people working in your company understands the value of the information they create or they protect, and it makes all the difference. Especially in today's world, data is gold. Data is platinum. We can't insist how important is the data.
Exactly.
And if people know how to protect it and their processes in place, it's amazing. Your trust is very high, and whenever people trust, business just goes there. Now, coming to the implementation part, what I understand, do I need an IT department in house of my company to implement ISO 27001? Because I may be a very small organization. I don't have the luxury of having an IT full-time IT department. So do I need an IT department to implement ISO 27001?
It is not necessarily that the IT department alone required to implement these ISO controls. They are more being a part of this implementation, because when we creating the information security policies and procedures in the company, they are the people who are going to implement in the baseline. So really they need, but it is not only that they are the only people who are going to be involved in this implementation. Even the maturity level we can get, like shared responsibilities can be assigned to people and then organize the culture. See, in the companies who 5 people, 6 people working in companies also having ISO 27000.
Really?
Yeah, they are also going for the ISO 27000 certificate.
5 to 6.
So really the purpose is not to have the IT department. The purpose is we need to protect our information.
That means
so
just it's not IT department.
Yeah.
It's everyone's work to protect the data.
Yes, that's every employee should have that responsibility that we need to protect the data. We need to work for it. So definitely the scope is not restricted only for the IT department. It's the entire organization.
So thank you so much for answering that question. Yes, we really do not need IT department at all to implement this, because as you rightly said, information is everyone's concerns and we all need to protect it. Doesn't matter even 5 to 6 members team has implemented ISO. I mean, that's mind-boggling. That's great. Now let's coming to the core part of it. Core question is how the organization implementation of ISO 27001 fails. I think that's the core topic why we're here today. So far we are just fringing. Now coming to the core topic, why does it fails? What is the main reason?
Yeah, good. Let's as you said, we come to the core part of this entire session. See, Abhishek, literally there are many reasons behind this, many factors influencing this implementation failure. But I would like to highlight the key points. That's around 3 points I need to highlight. Yeah, 3 main points. See, the point number 1, putting only one project manager in this entire project for the implementation. Definitely, I would say it won't work.
One project.
Yeah, I already said, right, it will take around 6 to 7 months of time for the implementation part. How can the single project manager will start doing every activities in the company? It won't work. Definitely, the company need a proper steering committee, implementation steering committee. They need to drive this implementation from the scratch to the certification process. And also it not ends there. Again, it's a continuous improvement process. They need to drive along with this part of their duties. Okay, so and also believing on only one person will also have if that person is no longer available in that organization, means definitely the implementation will never works out. So always need to have a teamwork, committee formation, backup plans need to be there for the proper implementation. So that's the first point I would like to highlight. And the second point here is top management visibility. See, the top management is not at all able to have a visibility on where the ISO project implementation is going on.
Exactly.
Yeah, because they have really not having much time to focus more on the implementation part. So further only they are assigning the committee, right? They are forming the implementation committee, steering committee, everything. But what that committee people do means they will be creating the project proposal of 100 pages. Okay, they are giving to the top management CEO, please approve this proposal. what is really, it's impossible to read all those 100 pages and I approve the proposal. It's definitely not going to be. It's always the top management should have a visibility, clear visibility, that where this implementation standing, how many tasks we have been completed, still pending tasks, how much is there, what is the top management commitment is required for to implement this ISO, that everything need to have a proper visibility. So basically the project management skill need to be developed in the organization, then only we can able to successfully implement this ISO 27001 project. And mostly one more thing, the top management project management committee, what they do means they will be focusing more on the technical issue rather going with the business issue. Yeah, going and speaking with the technical issue, the top management definitely, they won't understand. They will be never giving solutions for that. But we need to, for that only the steering committee has been appointed, right? So for the technical issue solving, so for that, whenever any business issue related things are there, definitely top management need to come into the picture and solve it, and then proceed further for the good implementation part. And the third point, and
Third point you said.
yeah, and the third important point for the implementation failure is, see, the top management is choosing some kind of a wrong implementers. Basically, they don't know the proper understanding of the ISO standard, as well as they will be implementing on their own way. It definitely not going to be work. First of all, we need to understand what is the phases of this implementation properly. We need to do the risk assessment before going for the implementation. Many implementers, what they do means they not even do the risk management. This is a major area of the implementation. They don't do that. They will directly move forward for the implementation part, documentation part, pushing, creating some unwanted rules, which is exactly not doable in practice. They will start writing too many documents for each and every controls. These are the things will definitely won't work at all. Definitely over the period, it will be going to the failure point of this implementation. So I think this three area need to be more clear and addressed by the organizations. Then only definitely we will have a successful implementation in the ISO 27001.
Thank you, Deva. Thank you so much for the understanding. Now coming to the final question of today's discussion, what are the unique points, or what is the uniqueness of Briskinfosec in implementing ISO 27001 in organization? What is the X factor of Brisk?
Yeah. So in Briskinfosec, we not follow a kind of a pre-existing templates or a kind of a softwares or tools which is not prepared, which is a generic thing. Okay. Right. Since ISO is a process-oriented standard, it's not a kind of a product or a service standard. Right. This is entirely about the process. We need to understand more about the process. Okay. So for that only, we will do the interview sessions with each and every people of the organization. We try to understand the context about the organization and start preparing the tailor-made documents, whatever suits for that organization. Okay. I think this is one of the uniqueness of the Briskinfosec for going the certification successfully. Mm-hmm. And then we are doing a maturity model assessment for the ISO implementation, where we could able to assess the company where how mature they are initially for this readiness for this implementation point of view. So I think this could be the more uniqueness. And definitely for one more thing I need to add up here, we definitely don't work with the organizations who are implementing for the namesake. They are looking forward for the certification. They just need to hang on the wall, just show to their customer that we are ISO 27000 certified for the namesake. So like that client, definitely we want to work with them. Previously we have terminated projects also like that, because people are asking for that for the namesake. Really it won't work. Really it will don't bring any kind of improvement in the organization. So instead of doing like such projects, we just terminate something. I think this is a unique factor of the Briskinfosec to have a successful implementation of this ISO 27001.
Thanks, Deva. Makes sense, because there are a lot of organization who just wants to implement, not to implement, just want to get a certificate. You rightly said, and they use as a marketing gimmick. So terminating such or not taking the contract is very good. Understanding that ISO, Briskinfosec lives ISO in a way, and that's what they want to implement. So really want to thank you, Deva, today for an amazing discussion. We had a clear insights on what ISO is all about. We went across around 10 plus questions, and thank you so much for your time. I'm sure audience, whoever is watching today, really thank you so much for watching this. And if you have got more questions, do ping us. on our comment section. We will be more than happy. Deva will be more than happy to solve those questions. Thank you so much. And thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Abhishek, for this beautiful session. And I would like to thank Briskinfosec for this opportunity to share the pain points of the organization. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.